Hi. Now I understand what Stevie was saying about um, homosexuality. I can do a video, and it's about the church, because when the churches was up and running there was no law, so the church made their own laws, which is history of medieval church influence, Anglo Saxon England. Power, law, village, wealth. The church had power, but every village had 100 people in each village, and each village was 2 miles apart. They become wealthy. The reason why they become wealthy is that every person who lived in that village had to attend church every Sunday. Failing to do Sundays, they was charged 5 shillings for not going to church. They was charged 2 shillings for being drunk, and they was charged 1 shilling for playing cards on Sundays. Also, the church told the villagers they had to choose 1 male to be the head of the village, and if anybody knew that anybody was committing an offence of any kind, that they would have to do the right thing, tell the head, for their head to go to church to tell the church who was doing wrong, and the church would punish them accordingly. This didn't go down well with the villagers, because everybody knew everybody's business, good or bad. Even if somebody wanted food that they could not afford food particular day, then they knew somebody who could, which was a punishable effect. Back then, the most animal, the bird, what was being killed at the precise time was a pheasant. If anybody needed food, they knew somebody who could go and get and kill a pheasant. The church made it upon themselves that the pheasant belonged to the church, and that alone would be having their hand cut off for killing a pheasant. That was the power and wealth that the church maintained. The church decided whether individuals were guilty or not, and how the accused were punished. In some cases, the accused punished would have been whipped, 100 lashes on the back. Some also had their hands cut off. Children who was stealing fruit, or even taking an apple off of somebody's tree, the church felt that they was punishable, and even children was punished by whip. 25 lashes of picking an apple off of somebody's tree. Now, killing farm animals without paying, church fined the accused double the money of the animal worth. But the church gave power to the farmers, and the farmers had to choose to accept the double money for the animal that was killed. But the farmer had the right to state, kill the accused by hanging. They had the choice. And 2 out of 5 farmers chose to kill the accused by hanging. Wealthy people, church, secrets, homosexuality, cross-dress. Yes, right. Wealthy people, they moved away from the towns. They tried to stay out of the way of villagers. They started to buy homes up in the hills, looking down over the villagers. They wasn't too close that they had to go to church, but they was close enough. But it was their own homes, private land. But they still lived in fear of the church. Men, 2 women, or 1 man. If they was about, they always stated brother and brother, sister, sister. A man on his own would be just classed as someone who rather be on their own. But the 2 men, they were lovers. The 2 women, they was lovers. And the man who was in the small house on his own loved to dress in women's clothes. The best women's dresses that money can buy. And they stayed walking in their grounds or in their homes without hopefully getting caught. But children, as children would be exactly the same back then, they were inquisitive to find out about these wealthy people and found some of these men kissing each other, holding hands, walking around their nice big outside life by caring attention, and they noticed what they was doing, and they went to the church, not to the head, but they went to the church to tell them what they had just saw. The church used to give a guinea to each child, and they went to these places. Gays and lesbians, they was hanged. They was hanged, and they was put in the box. But the head was where the feet should be, and the feet was where the head should be. And those sort of people was not allowed to rest in the church yard. They was always put in the ground outside the church walls. If a man got caught wearing women's clothing, he was stripped, because they stated he didn't know if he was a woman or a man. He wanted to dress up in women's clothes and the nice fine hair and the shoes, and they stripped him of his clothes. they parade him down through the village and hanged him. And they placed him in a box the same way as gays and lesbians. The head where the feet should be, the feet where the head should be. Witchcraft. Witchcraft. Well, the church was wealthy, and the next thing they had to do is get rid of witches, and they paid people to go and kill the witches. They became known as witch hunters. Each witch hunter had a monk, and the church would pay witch hunters £8 for every witch that they would kill. Witch hunters had many things that they could do to a witch. They had hot irons, put it against the witch's flesh. The torture that they went through was unreal before they actually got to the stake to burn. The ones who actually turned around and stated yes, that they are a witch, to stop being burnt by hot iron, was no good. They went and they was burnt as witches. The ones who would not heal to state that they was tied up, thrown over the bridge into deep cold water. If they floated, they was a witch. If they sunk, they was innocent. And sorry to say, quite a few sunk, quite a few floated. They was then taken to the stake and burnt as a witch. So, that's just some of the history in the Dark Ages of the church. And the church, when they started, was bad as what Judge Jeffreys were. Anyway, there's medieval church influence. Thanks for watching. God bless. Take care.